Terry Lynn, Traveling Artista. Here's a list of my basic watercolor supplies and some ideas. This is my basic palette layout. Be it a large or small palette, doesn't really matter. I have 2 of each primary color. I have a cool and a warm of each. For instance, lemon yellow, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, cerulean blue, and ultramarine blue, and once in a while I'll put a cobalt in there. I also have 3 earth tones: yellow ochre, which is mustard color, burnt sienna, kind of a brick color, and burnt umber, which is a dark brown. I often have lamp black as well. I keep lamp black instead of Payne's gray because Payne's gray has ultramarine blue in it, and if you go to mix it with some things, that blue will affect the colors. If I have any extra tubs, I might add a purple or a sap green. I don't usually have other greens in my palette because you can so easily mix green with your yellows and blues and get more variety. Plus, greens out of the tube tend to dye the paper and they're harder to lift. To the right, because I'm right-handed, I have 2 cups of water, one for washing and cleaning my brushes so it's dirty water, and 1 clean water for when I go back into the palette. I can do almost everything with just 2 brushes: a 3/4 to 1 inch flat wash brush and a maybe size 8 calligraphy brush. I also have a rigger brush to the side, that's that long thin one for tiny lines, and a bristle brush for fun. You'll notice that my brushes sit on a sponge. This helps protect the glue that's in the ferrule so the hairs in my brush don't fall out. It also helps me to regulate the amount of water that's in my brush before I go to the palette. To the right of those, I have a couple spray bottles with water. The blue one has a coarse spray, so I get great textures with that, and the small green one is a finer, misty spray. A reminder, if you have a beverage, keep it to the opposite side so you don't accidentally dip your brush in it. Behind here, upper left-hand corner, I have my Cotman travel palette. I have my 2 cups for water, my brushes. There is some salt there that can add some wonderful textures. To the right of that is my Dawn and my Resist and my special brush, which I use only for the Resist. I have a demonstration on how to use the Dawn to put that little bit of soap in the brush before you use it, and the Resist will not stick into the brush as easily. Rinse it out as soon as you're done. That's vital. There's also a little removal tool there. That tool will help you pick up the Resist from the paper when you're done. There is some brush cleaner in the little tan round case. I have some golden acrylic paint, Titanium White, so if I lose all my whites on my paper, I can bring it back at the end with that. Down below that, you can see an interesting Japanese India ink brush. I love this thing. It's so much fun to use, but you have to use it sparingly. And then, of course, I have my water spray bottles for the coarse and the fine spray, and a little tiny jar that has a special top on it that I can squeeze water into my palette when I want to soften the paint. I also have here some masking tape to hold down the edges of the paper while I'm painting. That will help keep it dry. It'll keep it flat as it dries. A sponge, some variety of paper towels and things to blot with, a variety of brushes, and I think that just about covers it. Toward the front, let's see, I also have a natural sponge for nice textures. I have a template, that metal template to add different shapes or to lift different shapes. A white acrylic pen, the brush with the blue on it, that's for my Resist, and then a toothbrush for special textures and other interesting tools that I can use. Here I am preparing some paper to paint. I am using the masking tape to tie it down to a flat water-resistant surface like these plexiglass panels that come with some frames. It's great to use. When you remove the tape, remember to let the watercolor painting totally dry and pull the tape off at a 45-degree angle away from the painting. I often use an old credit card or something to draw some quick little rectangles on a piece of paper for practice areas and to try different techniques. And a hugely vital tool is my sketchbook. Take it out on location. You can see I have those little rectangles I created from the credit card shapes. I try all different angles, different tones. You can do no tans of just black and white, or you can do thumbnail sketches with tonal values of grays in there as well. You can also use photographs, but those tend to give you a little more stilted painting at the end. You want to keep it fresh and beautiful and self-expressive. Keep your sketchbook with you at all times, and take little notes to remind you what you were feeling and what the weather was like at that location at that time. It'll help bring you back to that moment so you have more emotion in your painting. Well, there's some basics. It is by no means exhaustive. So if you want any of my PDF forms, like my supply list or my list of colors that I use in watercolor, do go to my website, travelingartista.com, email me, ask for those, sign up for my newsletter while you're at it. I will not inundate your mailbox with too many emails, and I will not share your information. Also, while you're still here, down below, remember to subscribe and keep on top of things. Any questions? Just contact me. Meanwhile, stay as creative as possible.